what is Nintendo doing? The price tag for the Nintendo Switch 2 has been announced, and buckle up, buckaroo, because guess what it is? If your answer was $450 for the Switch 2, then you were correct. Which has basically now set the entire gaming community on fire. Like, people are very upset with this price point. Because the original Switch, when it came out, was $300, and now all of a sudden in the year 2025, we're getting the Switch 2, which is apparently going to be that $450. And for what? Better graphics? Maybe a little bit more horsepower? Which kind of makes me feel like the way that Nintendo has handled this Switch situation is very similar to how they handled the Wii situation. Which is why I kind of feel like that Nintendo didn't learn from their past and has completely fumbled this. Now, $450 is a lot of money, especially now as America's basically heading towards a recession. Not many people are gonna have the money to buy a Switch, and those that do may decide to just hold on to their money because they're going to need it for other things. Thanks, by the way.
Look what Jesus did! Look what Jesus did! Look what Jesus did!
But from my end, like, I wasn't even gonna buy the Switch. I'd probably wait till later, much like I did with the original Switch, just for the price to end up going down. It probably never will, but besides the point. And while I think it's insane to charge $450 for the Switch 2, I also understand that other consoles are doing that too. PlayStation and Xbox are doing the same exact thing by selling their consoles at insane numbers. Like at launch, the Xbox Series X was $500, while the PS5 was also $500. And sure, someone could probably make the case that a sequel console that's basically just a slightly upgraded version of the original shouldn't be anywhere close to this amount of money. But to put it into perspective, the PS5 Pro, which released in November of 2024, cost $700. I didn't even know that, and that's insane. So from my end, I'm not like that upset by the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Where I am upset is the price of games for the Nintendo Switch 2. Because games for the Nintendo Switch 2 are being listed for $80 or even $90 apparently. Now apparently the new Mario Kart game, which is going to be exclusive to the new Nintendo Switch, is going to be $80. That is fucking criminal. Like, we all kind of, I think, knew that the price of games would end up going up once Grand Theft Auto 6 released, because I think a lot of people in the industry have pointed out to seeing what they're going to do with that game, because it could end up being $100 or more for GTA 6. Yet Nintendo had the absolute balls to slap an $80 price tag on their new games for the Switch 2, and most of them being exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I think myself and most others probably didn't have that on their 2025 bingo card of the Nintendo Switch dropping with such a high price point, with their games being at high price points. And all this together, like, if you're mad about the console, you have the right to be mad about the console's price tag. I'm more mad about the game price being so high. This is a complete and total disaster for Nintendo, because this console could quite literally bury Nintendo, much like the Wii U almost did back when that released and completely failed. Because again, the price for the Nintendo Switch 2 is gonna have to go up, much like everything else that's being imported into America with the new tariff policy. Not to mention the games themselves could even be even higher priced than what they're announcing right now. This was the absolute worst time to even announce this console, to announce the price point you're announcing it at, to announce that you're going to increase the price of your games. That is insane. It's the worst move Nintendo could have done. The best move they probably could have done was make the console $250 and then made the games $80. They could have done that and made the entire console more appealing to players, especially at a time when people are starting to worry about dollars. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be hardcore Nintendo fans that will end up defending all this, and don't get me wrong, I don't think it's that bad that the console is set at a $450 price point. I just think it's really bad for right now. I don't think this was the right price point at this very time. But again, in the end, I am not buying the Switch 2. I wasn't really probably going to anyway, because I figured I would just wait it out, but I probably am just going to completely protest this and just buy the original Switch, or at least maybe another one if it's like pretty cheap, because my wife plays it and I really want to play Breath of the Wild. But again, like I said, I think this is going to completely bury Nintendo, and they're going to end up back to where they were with the Wii U. This is a total disaster for this entire company. I don't know exactly what they were thinking with this, and I think the fact that they shut off the pre-orders, at least from what I saw, they shut off the pre-orders, it means that they're probably doing more research on this and probably gonna backtrack, or they're just gonna be like, we'll just see what happens when we release it. I don't know, maybe they end up updating the price where it's a little bit cheaper. It's insane. What an insane move by such a big company that was rebounding with the Switch originally.